to give participants an extra 5 minutes to connect. So we are back soon. Stay with us.
Hello, everyone that's joined in the last few minutes. We're just letting the last people join for a couple more minutes and we'll start the training. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone that's still joining. Thank you very much for joining us today. We're just giving one more minute for the other participants to sign in. Thank you.
Hi, Klaus. Hello, everyone. Klaus, I believe you're on mute. We cannot hear you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Klaus Hesse. I'm the team leader of the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, operating the Technical Assistance Program of the European Investment Bank in the Caribbean. It's a great pleasure to welcome you throughout the whole Caribbean, from Barbados in the Far East to Belize in the West. So we are really happy to welcome you to our virtual training, Adapt Your Business in Times of COVID-19. It's really a great pleasure, and the training is part of the Technical Assistance Program of the European Investment Bank for the Caribbean, a program that started in May 2018 and currently works in 16 different in 6 countries of the region, helping 16 financial institutions and its millions of Caribbean clients. The training is organized by our sponsor, the European Investment Bank, and operated by the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management. As well, we count on the support of the development program for the United Nations of Barbados, and as well the Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility of the Inter-American Development Bank. As well, it is supported by the Caribbean Development Bank, the Bank of Jamaica, the Development Bank of Jamaica, the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce of Jamaica, the Development Finance Corporation of Belize, and the St. Lucia Development Bank. Thank you very much to you all for your support and commitment on this training. We have different speakers today, this afternoon with us. So we are welcoming Mr. Yves Ferreira, Regional Head for the Caribbean of the European Investment Bank, Mr. Flores Vermeulen, Representative for the Southern and Eastern Caribbean, Mr. Hugo Blanco, Resident Representative of the Development Program for the United Nations for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, and Ms. Celia Donut, Private Sector Lead Specialist of the Inter-American Development Bank and Executive Director of the Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility. I would like to introduce as well to you our trainer, Mr. Juan Vega, Specialist in Financial Education and Digital Training, who's going to take the training later with you. And last but not least, at the end of the event, we will listen to a testimonium from an innovative businesswoman from Barbados, Ms. Marja Lewis. Next, we will listen to a welcome from the representative of our sponsor, the European Investment Bank. I therefore kindly invite the Regional Head for the Caribbean, Mr. Yves Ferreira. Yves, we are listening to you.
Thank you very much, Klaus. Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the European Investment Bank, welcome to this free online course. I would like, of course, to salute the relevance of the team chosen by Frankfurt School for this event and acknowledge the contributions of the different partners that were mentioned by Klaus in his remarks. All are very important partners of the European Union and of the EIB in the region and in their respective countries. It's always very encouraging to be able to bring together the actions of different actors in an area so important as the support for small and medium-sized businesses and entrepreneurship, especially in a period of crisis. As the EU Development Bank, we have been present in the region for 4 decades, with the assistance to MSMEs being one of the main pillars of our activity. This support comes in the form of attractive finance through microfinance institutional, national development banks such as DBJ, DFC and SLDB, and also in the form of TA, technical assistance, as testified by today's training. So to the participants, I really hope that this training will be of great benefit to your business. And in this new reality in which we all have to operate virtually, that doesn't preclude impact. So let's make sure that this training will have a tremendous impact on your businesses. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Yves, for your kind words. And as well, it's very important that you outline that we go further, always working as a team. So this is very important. But before starting the training now, a few words on the organization. The training is transmitted in Zoom and as well in YouTube. And it's important to mention that during the course, your microphones will be muted. So with this, we ensure that we don't have noises, let's say, which will disturb the presentations. Nevertheless, you can ask your questions or make comments through the chat in the bottom part of the Zoom, and also in the YouTube chat for those who are joining us from via YouTube. At the end of the course, we will have time to come back to the most representative questions and answer them. And now it is the moment where we want to listen to you, because you are the real reason why we are here gathered together. We know that more than 500 Caribbean businessmen and executives have signed up for the course, and we would like to know who you are. That's why we have prepared a small questionnaire. Please help us answering the question which we have prepared to know more about our audience. For those who are in Zoom, the question will show up on the screen, and for those who are following us from YouTube, access the link through the YouTube chat. We have the following question, which will be presented by our colleague Melissa Schöller from Frankfurt School in Germany. Melissa, please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this training. I will go ahead and open up the poll for everyone to answer. So you should be able to see it in your screens now. Make sure you scroll down so you can see and answer all of the questions. And we would really like to hear where you're joining us from. What is your gender, your age, and most importantly, which sector do you work in? Do you work in agriculture and tourism? What exactly are you working on at the moment? And also very important to know whether you have any products or services currently with any financial institution. So do you have a savings account? Do you have a loan? Do you have any other type of financial product of service with a bank or any type of financial institution? And of course, we would like to know how have your sales been impacted by the current situation. So I can see already that people are answering. We have 31 people answering. It would be great if as many as possible can answer the poll so that we get all of your insights. We get to know you a little bit more. All right, so I see, for example, there's a lot of people from Belize and St. Lucia. 21. 18 are from other countries. Maybe you can enter in the chat box, where are you from? If you're not from the countries that we listed. That would be really nice. Most of you are between 33 and 60 years old. And most of you work in the services sector. So it would be interesting to know. Oh, Grenada, Trinidad y Tobago, Antigua, nice. St. Vincent, Dominica, not to be confused with the Dominican Republic. That's true, yes. We don't do that, don't worry. Curaçao, nice. From Belize, very nice. All right, so 108, 9 from 167 participants. Let's give it one more minute, just one more minute. And then I will close the poll. I also have people joining the training as we speak. So we're getting bigger and bigger here in this group. All right, 10 seconds. Jamaica. All right, I'm gonna close the poll now. And here you can see. So we have a lot of people from Belize, 30, but St. Lucia is not staying behind, neither is Jamaica. A lot of women in the house, good. Rather not say, that's okay. 33 to 60 years old, we're all adults. older adults. In German, you say reif. You're ripe. Which sector? Services. And a lot of people have loans, but also savings, which is good. And a lot of people have been impacted by COVID-19. So there you go, Klaus.
Excellent. Perfect. Really, it's very, very great. And we are really happy that we have such a representative audience this afternoon with us, joining this training on how to adapt your business on COVID-19. Before entering the event, I briefly would like to present the agenda of today. Our trainer, let's say Mr. Juan Vega, he will provide the training, which is divided in 2 steps. So the first one is how to adapt your business during COVID-19. We will have then a small presentation of United Nations Development Program, Business as Unusual, presented by Hugo Blanco. And we will then continue with our second topic of the training, which is projecting and controlling your cash flow and inventory, as well provided by our trainer, Juan Vega. And we will close the agenda in the afternoon, let's say, with the presentation of Compete Caribbean and the call for cluster proposal. It's the blue economy. So this is the last presentation we will have before we will really finalize with our testimonial from Marsha Lewis from the Managing Partner Human Capital LCI Consulting in Barbados. So this is our program. With this, I guess we can get going start now. Juan, can you please go ahead with your presentation?
Sure, thank you very much. Presentation will be about how can we adapt our business during COVID-19 time, and very important aspect.
Juan, I guess we don't hear you. I don't hear you very well. Is there any? Maybe can you go closer to the microphone?
Sorry, I had the wrong microphone. Can you hear me well now?
Now it's perfect. Thank you very much.
I was with the mobile. Okay, technology. So I will start this presentation on how to adapt the business during COVID-19 times, conversing about a story. The story is about how these 3 guys started a very well-known and worldwide known business now, several years back from now. They were in a city trying to get ideas. They didn't want to go to be employed by someone else. They want to be self-entrepreneurs. But they didn't know what to do. So they were breaking their heads trying to find out what business we should go in. And they were in a meeting in a Italian restaurant in Seattle, and they asked for a coffee. And they received the coffee, and the coffee was horrible, was really terrible coffee. And they said, wow, we are looking for a business and nobody is serving a good coffee in this city. So that was the business idea. They went to another city. They learned it from a Dutch person that was having a very successful business selling high quality coffee, and they learned it. Today, you know them very well. They are the founders of Starbucks, a famous coffee chain. And the message behind the story is, if you want to start a business, just look around and see what is not working well. And what is people needing that is not finding a good solution, problems to solve, needs to address. This is your opportunity for a new business. Okay, so I think this is a very important message. Going forward, it's very important. We were conversing yesterday about this. You will not find these tips for successful business management in any book. This comes from a reflection. I had a TV program several years back from now. I interviewed thousands of entrepreneurs, and I tried to make a summary. What makes a successful business manager and what makes a successful business? And I would divide in 4 characteristics. number one, to be honest and on time, honest and punctual. Number two, offer great service. Sorry, I think I am using the wrong presentation. Just give me a second. I will download it. There was a problem with the internet a minute ago and my computer just started. So this should be the right one. Okay, sorry for that delay. It's strange. Seems that the same. Okay, so what they found that was important. Are you watching the sharing screen? Not
yet.
Lucy or Melissa, can you please share the screen of the presentation, because I'm not. It's not working well with mine now. I will keep going.
We'll do that. We'll do that, Juan. You can just continue. Yeah.
Okay. So the main tip for a successful business manager is, number one, to be honest and punctual, be on time. That means keep your promises, keep your word, because your client will know and your client will refer you to other clients. And keep your word not just with client, but also with your own staff. Number two is try to offer a great service and quality, both to client and to staff. That because you are a provider, when you are, even if you are the business owner, you are a provider to your own staff. You want to motivate them, to train them, to make them as good as possible, so they can deliver an outstanding services to your customers. Number three is learn how to sell and how to identify new business opportunities. This is a continuous learning process. We are always learning, never stop learning, never stop growing what you can do. And number four is learn how to keep control of your incoming and outgoing cash, inventory, and debt. Control your money, control your stocks. So now we are running to the point of the presentation. Thank you very much, Melissa. Moving forward, okay, excellent. This is what we also found about successful business management. We have three aspects to consider. Number one is the entrepreneurial skills. That means a combination between the desire to grow plus identify opportunities, business opportunities in the market. If you want to be a good business owner, you have to keep your positive attitude all times and maintain good values always, because your image is everything when you manage a business. Number two, it's not just about entrepreneurship, it's about business management. It's a business. So you have to develop a managerial thinking. What does it mean? Number one, learn how to make a team building. That means not just a team, but the people collaborate to grow the business. The people feel that business is their own business and they do the best they can. Number two is try to handle a very efficient process to deliver your services, and efficient process is also the best possible service to your client. And to do that, you always have to be thinking about customer-centric innovation. What is this about? Ask the client. Look what the problems are, what problems they are facing, and try to find out the best way to make the life of the client easier. Okay, and last but not least, I would like to talk about the triple sustainability. People. We want to treat well clients, we want to treat well their staff. We want them to be better off with the service and the value we deliver value for people. Number two, profit. Incomes less expenses equals the profits. You need profit to grow. You need profit to keep going on in the business. And number 3, planet. We cannot keep destroying the planet the way we are doing. We are producing food in an unsustainable way. There will be no planet for our grandchildren at the speed we are going. So we have to make a very delicate balance about sustainability, people, profit, planet. So every time, learn what is working well, what is not working, ask your customers, ask your staff, adjust and improve. So next one, please, Melissa. Can you move the slide?
Yes, 1 second.
Okay, thank you.
I will.
One more.
I will let. There you go, Lucy.
Okay.
Can you continue?
Talking about the business opportunity, how do we identify business opportunity? Just like our friend from Starbucks, try to find out what is not working well in your environment around you. What are the trends? What are the ongoing changes? Right now, if everybody is staying at home, what they need at home? We interviewed some entrepreneurs and they are telling things people is using more frequently at home, like a comfortable shoes, a sheets for the bed. Things we are using at home have higher demand today. Number 2, what could you offer of better quality, of better price that outbids your competition? Ask your target client what they want, what they don't want, and listen very carefully to deliver outstanding value. Number 3, learn from relevant experience. What can you learn from your competition? What can you learn from your own mistakes? How can we make it better every time? And finally, find a business mentor or try to learn from successful stories and failure stories. YouTube is a free university of the world. You can find a lot of stories, what is working well, what is not working well, and I'll evaluate your competition and learn from them. Next one, please. So how can we increase the sales? It's about advertising. It's not just about advertising in a traditional way. We have to use social media. We have to sell on YouTube, on internet, on WhatsApp, on Facebook. And it's not about making a publication there. It's about making a proper publication with good image, good drawings, good videos. To do this, we have to answer to a need and present our product as a solution to that problem. We have to think about what would make the life of our customer more comfortable and the usefulness of our product. Number 2, try to offer promotions and discounts because these are crisis time. We cannot keep selling at the same prices than before crisis. We need to lower our price. How we do that? We found out that in some cases, the entrepreneurs negotiated the prices with their own suppliers. And with that reduced prices, they were able to translate a lower price to their own customers. So negotiate better price with your dealers or suppliers and provide better price to your clients. Next one, try to offer delivery services. What is delivery about? Decrease the fear and increase the comfort of your clients. That's also try, whenever you can, try to make and keep a contact list of your client and their online payment because it's very important that you control who is buying you what are their preferences, and from time to time send them an offer, valuable information, keep in touch, create a community around your product and services. So next one, please. So what are the tips to increase your sales on social media? First of all, it's not one social media, it's a combination of WhatsApp marketing, Facebook, using the Facebook apps, Instagram. Now Instagram has been bought by Facebook, so you can combine both e-platforms together, and YouTube. YouTube is the free television of the world. So you can start by creating your Facebook page or Facebook campaigns and delivering in some advertising campaigns. Number 2, the quality of the content that you are going to deliver. Short is better. clearer is better. Clear description of what you are going to offer with a very nice and charming image, favorable prices, and emotional storytelling. I remember the story of a lady that was selling cakes, and she always took a picture of her children eating the cake. So it was a very emotional picture that captured the audience attention. Number 3, and this is a big opportunity for the banks and microfinance and credit unions, institutions, try to develop a virtual shop. More and more the banks are trying to offer their customers on this new reality, virtual shops and online payment services. So you can have the virtual shop, the client can buy on the online shop and can make the payment immediately with security. So this is very important, and this is very important also for the bank. So another aspect is to send offers and valuable information from time to time to your client. Keep in touch, keep your community alive. Okay, next one, please. What about delivery? Delivery services need to pay close attention to the way in which we transport our product and services to the client. So evaluate the cost benefit of different alternatives. You can use Yugo, Uber Eats, or you can buy your own motorcycle and deliver. The important thing is to make a good cost benefit evaluation. Also beware of biosecurity, environmental, the health and safety, and the regulations. So try to deliver safe package to your client so they know that you are taking all the possible measures to protect their health. So they can trust you and they will probably buy you more. Number 3, before sending any order, please double check and confirm your order with the client to make sure that there is no mistake, because there is nothing more terrible than sending something that is returned. It's a lot of time and a lot of image. And finally, track and supervise the people that work in the delivery service with GPS and telephone. So you can know where they are and your client can also know where they are, how long it will take to arrive to the home, and at any time you or your client should be able to contact them. Next one, please, Melissa. So I spoke too much. Now it's time to listen your opinion. I will not be able I will try to share the mind map. Okay, we are going to make interaction with you using the chat. In the chat, please write down, based on what you have listened and on your own experience, what are the main challenges you face today to go and grow your online sales. Please write down your challenge in the chat, and Melissa will start reading, and I will also try to share my screen for that to try to make a mind map around it.
All right, so what are your challenges when trying to use online sales and delivery? Since most of you are in the service industry, I understand that not for all sectors this applies, but yeah, perhaps you can also include that when you answer and share your challenges in the chat box. What do you think is the problem that you're facing when trying to sell online or deliver your services? So feel free to, I don't have a website. It's a star sell. You don't have a website because you don't know how to build one, or is it that you you need advice on how to build one, or unreliable postal services? Not being able to do a social meeting to get people to come together. Okay, Darcel answered to my question, both. Yeah, okay. So lack of guidance on how to build an online presence. Not all services are programmed to be online. That's true. To be paid online. Lots of answers. The challenge for us is to easily implement a virtual store. So that needs more personnel. Receiving
We have
payments.
some comments here on YouTube as well.
Okay.
So websites are expensive. One comment as well, we have that the payments take too long to reach account.
Online marketing is also a challenge. E-commerce challenging, yes. Also, the cost of a website is being mentioned here as well.
In YouTube, we have backers who said that need training on how to build a website.
Payment gateways limit the amount of business you can do online. So, for example, they cannot get a check from PayPal in their country. Payment systems are limited, yes. How to obtain advertising online to run an online newspaper. E-commerce services from banks take too long. Customers not happy with the pricing. But I guess that's everywhere, right? Okay, for someone who does drinks, it's difficult to provide sampling sessions for advertising the products face to face. E-commerce fees are expensive. Yes, PayPal still the most feasible method to link e-commerce, and local banks are not facilitating this affordably. Yeah, some products require more personal relationships. Okay. Okay, so someone who owns a bakery, for example, is trying to use social media, but the customers don't participate online. So it's hard if their target group is not into social media. Okay, lack of transportation, if they cannot send their goods to other islands because of no flights. That is if you're in the export industry, of course, or selling internationally. Finance, lack of finance to start up the business. Yeah, so shipping is, and postal services also challenging when it comes to delivery. Clients are not tech savvy. Okay, so I think we have a lot of answers by now. I think we can get an idea of what are the challenges. Juan, what do you think?
Yes, definitely. I think we have a good quantity of inputs. By one side, we could, I think I will write down in with bold. One very important thing that was well mentioned by several of the participants is the virtual store implementation. That takes to the payment aspect, the bank's e-commerce costs and service, and sometimes the client not yet in social media. What is a problem can be a huge opportunity. Remember, 2020 is the first year of the rest of our lives. The world has changed and will not go back to normal, even with the vaccines. So we need to think about this possibility. Some time ago, there was a story in China, you know, the founder of Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, the Amazon from China. He tried to convince the bank, several years back from now, I think it was 8 years back from now, he tried to convince the bank to go into the e-commerce and to facilitate the payment in China. The bank didn't want to do that. They were taking time, were not convinced. So he said something famous. If the banks are not willing to support the people, we are going to have to change the banks. And he created Alipay. And Alipay is moving as much as Visa or MasterCard and many times more than PayPal today worldwide, and it's growing. So remember this message, banks. If the banks do not help people, they will probably change the banks. So this is can you share again the presentation, Melissa? I will stop sharing this. It's very important to consider all these challenges and to think about what future brings. So we had a very nice experience. Go to the next one. And thank you and congratulations for all your valuable. Next one, please. Now, this is for this part. And Klaus, back to you.
Seems like we lost Klaus for a moment.
We cannot hear you, Klaus.
But let me take the opportunity to please invite Mr. Hugo Blanco from the United Nations Development Program. Hugo, I believe you have a short presentation for us. Thank you very much for joining us and partnering with the European Investment Bank on this. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Floris, and all the participants. I cannot activate my video. Maybe the host can help me with that.
If you can go to share screen, and then you will see in the left side, share the sound of your computer. Please make check on that, and please share and then share the screen.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. I hope you can see the screen now. Yes?
Not yet.
Not yet?
No, you have to maybe try to share again the screen. Make sure you check in the left side, share the sound of your computer, and then click on the button share.
Got it.
Now we can see your screen.
Got it?
Perfect.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you very much. My name is Hugo Blanco. I'm the recent representative of the UNDP, United Nations Development Program. I'm connecting from Barbados, and we serve 10 countries and territories in the Eastern Caribbean. And the reason why I think I've been invited to this session is because from the United Nations, we are very much interested in supporting institutions, families, and partners and firms to overcome the impacts of the COVID-19. It's been a health crisis that have developed into a socio-economic disaster. And the UNDP, the United Nations Development Program, our main mandate is to fight all forms of poverty. Poverty related to governance and justice, environmental poverty, or poverty related to vulnerability and disasters. We've been mandated by the UN Secretary General as the technical lead of the United Nations socio-economic impacts and livelihoods when it comes to COVID-19. And today, and I'll be very brief, we launched a study that says that if things go as they are expected to go now, we will have about 44 million more people living in extreme poverty in 10 years. 44 million people living in poverty. If things goes worse, we'll have 1 billion inhabitants of this planet living in poverty by 2030. But also the third scenario of today's report is that if we do the right things, this can become an opportunity. An additional 150 million people will be lifted out of extreme poverty in the world. The key message here is that this is a crisis, but a crisis is also an opportunity to change and do things differently. So today, the world has changed, our lives have changed, and our clients have changed. So the way we operate must change as well. Let me see if I can move to the next screen. Yeah. So if your business is not changing, is not adapting, I'm afraid you will be out of work very soon. So this is a big push to accelerate some of the innovations, some of the activities you were planning to do, you were thinking. And that's why UNDP, United Nations Development Program, we are supporting micro, small, and medium enterprises in this process. It's a simple process, but it's not always easy. Simple is not always easy. And I think Juan has very nicely introduced some of these key elements. So this training provided by the Frankfurt School with the support of the European Investment Bank and partners can be instrumental in this process. And we are very, very glad to join this session. The The COVID-19 has forced the acceleration of the transition towards a digital economy. I think we all know that. I mean, some of the comments in the chat were, our clients are not tech savvy. It's expensive. We don't know about the digital solutions. We have to go digital because it's smarter, it's faster, it's more agile, and in many ways it's cheaper. It's a good investment. So let's be smart. That's what we suggest with the companies we work with on our investments, because this has led companies to digitize some of the aspects of their operations in order to protect the businesses, their employees, the customers, and their clients. So innovation, it's critical, and some of the work we are doing is to link farmers and fishermen, fisherfolk, with online platforms to sell their products. One of the apps is trying to link fisherwomen taking pictures from the boat, and this information goes directly to restaurants and hotels where these products can be sold at a better price. So what we are doing, and this is very much in line with all the points outlined by Juan, is to find new modus operandi that in order to ensure that business continuity in the context of COVID. However, this has been an uncharted territory for many of the small and medium enterprises operating in the Eastern Caribbean. We know that. So we are trying to guide you, people like you, companies, small companies like you, to move effectively and pivot towards digital operations and reduce the digital divide. The support to economic transformation consists of knowledge transfer and retooling, reskilling, and recovery of small and micro companies and self-employment through what we call in UNDP the Future Program. Is what you are seeing on the screen. It's very simple, and it goes very much in line with Juan's presentation. The main focus of this platform is to help the companies to transform and adapt and remain active and profitable during COVID-19 and beyond. And what we have, what are the main elements? 6-7 key parts. Keep the business active. That was very critical during the first wave. Efficiently handling orders and deliveries, where we used to see people face to face, and that's not happening anymore. How can we do it? How do we organize our finances in complex times? Ensuring business safety and security, critical. Customers will not come to your shop, to your restaurant, if they don't feel safe. Implement various payments methods. That's what we've been talking now, and there is a number of options in the region. Generate appealing products and promotions for clients. Again, when in times of scarcity, we need to be smart on how do we sell our products and to whom. And the last point is very much at the core of the United Nations mandate, which is protecting the environment. So how can we also save money by being more environmentally friendly? I have 2 more slides very quickly. All these elements, the 7 elements I've mentioned, have tools, guides, and templates. So what do you mean about safety and security? Okay, we have developed checklists, and these are available online, of course, free, and they are very, very user-friendly. I will send the link in the chat so you can go and have a look. And this can be further expanded thanks to the support of colleagues from the Frankfurt School. It's user-friendly, so small companies don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to, okay, what's the financial Excel table I need to use? Okay, there is one pretty easy, pretty user-friendly. So that's why when we heard about this opportunity to partner with the European Investment Bank and the Frankfurt School and other partners, we quickly jumped in, because there is a need to do better and faster, because the micro, small, and medium enterprises are at the core of their lives in the Caribbean. And even more now, where we need to promote economic diversification, job creation, and better well-being. I'm going to close with a very short video.
The Caribbean is bravely meeting the COVID-19 challenge head-on, but there is still more work to be done. The United Nations Development Programme's COVID-19 response program has been developed to help the region reactivate its economy by going digital. It is time to transform and reimagine our way of life. Resources have been created to help small businesses thrive in this new normal, because e-future is now. Jobs, businesses, lives. To access these resources and tips, visit bb.undp.org.
Sorry for that. That's more or less the key messages I wanted to share. I mean, we also have done many other things, including the procurement and distribution of protective equipment, cash grants, etc. But I think what is at the core of the solution and the retooling is the know-how, and this training and others in the future can be critical. So from UNDP, we are very pleased to continue our support to the small and micro enterprises operating in the Eastern Caribbean. Thank you very much, Klaus. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Hugo. These are really important tools developed by the UNDP for the Caribbean entrepreneurs, and as well to support them in their transition to e-commerce. And this fits as well very much with what we heard from Juan before. So thank you very much. It was really an excellent presentation. With this, we are now ready to listen again to our trainer, Juan Vega, for the second part of the training, projection and control of cash flow and inventories. Juan, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Klaus. I think when we talk about cash flow, we need to think why is it important and how do we control the cash flow. So talking about cash flow, why we make a cash flow? Sorry. Okay, why we make a cash flow? Because it gives us a very nice, a very detailed overview of the flow of the incoming and outgoing cash. And cash is the baseline for business. 30 years back from now in banking, my first banker's lessons was, if the business lacks liquidity, the business dies. So liquidity is very important. Why? Because the cash flow helps you to better understand how you can control your finance, and based on that, if you control well a business, you can plan and grow your business. But nothing is for free. You need to develop the discipline and dedicate the time to work on your finance, to elaborate your cash flow, keep a record keeping of your cash incomes and cash outcomes to improve your business. This is very important. So in a very simple way, how we control the cash. We always start with an opening balance. We add all the cash inflows. Then opening balance plus all cash inflows, we have all the cash entries. And then we subtract the total cash outflows. So total inflows, cash inflows minus total cash outflows is the balance of money that you should have in your business at a moment of time. But you need to compare that balance with the quantity of money you really have physically in your business. If you account that money, the money you have in your banks and in your store, and if there is any difference, that means you are not having the money that you should have. Then you should find out why you have a difference. The same process that is used to control cash is useful to control inventory, the stock. Opening balance plus all entries less all outflows is the inventory you should have in your business. If you account the physical quantity of your inventory and you have a difference, something happened, and then you know what happened. You need to investigate. So let's give an example. Very easy to follow cash flow control. Start with the initial cash of your business at the beginning of the month, 20,000. Add up all the cash receipts for sales, for example, 200,000.
Apologies, Juan, you're on mute. Please unmute yourself.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, were you able to listen to me before?
We lost you for 10 seconds only.
Okay, so We start with the initial cash balance, 20,000. We add all the sales revenues, 200,000. So my full cash inflows is 220,000. We subtract all the cash outflows for the business expenses during the month, 130,000, and subtract all the cash outflows from my family and personal expenses, including debt payments, 60,000 in this example. So 220 less 130 less 60, I should have 30,000 balance of money in my hand and in my bank account. So this is what I should have. But when I accounted the money in my business and bank account, I only accounted for 28,000. So I have a difference between 30,000 and 28,000 of 2,000. So I need to find out what happened. Maybe in this case, if the cash balance is greater than the actual money you have, then you are missing money. This is the case because the balance is larger than the money I have. So something happened with the money. I need to find out what happened and why it happened. Otherwise, if the balance, that means this 30,000, would be less than the money I actually have, this 28,000 line, then I have a surplus of money. That means I have more money than I should have. Then I have to find out why I do have more money than what I should have. So maybe some sales were not recorded correctly or what happened. I need to find the reason for the difference. So it's a very simple way to make a cash flow control. Money in minus money out is the money that I should have in the business. So talking about fraud prevention,
Juan,
I think it's very important to make regular checks, verify. If you have, sorry, can you hear me well?
Yes, I have a comment
here before we move on to the next topic. Someone commented, cash flow should not be confused with revenue. Accounts receivable is not cash. It's important that all small businesses understand this point.
Yes, it's important. We are talking about a cash physical money, the money that we are handling in this time. Maybe we can have other collectibles account, but we are talking about cash in and cash out. So this is the simplest way to do it, because if we would get into a very detailed and complicated explanations using all the accounting rules, 99% of small and micro entrepreneurs would not use it. Sorry to say that, but that was the experience with previous examples. So very important about talking about fraud prevention is to make regular checks to verify if you have the right amount of money and the right amount of the inventory that you should have using a tool like we just checked in the previous slide. If there is difference, you have to investigate, and more than investigation and finding out what happened, the key managerial question is, why could I prevent this problem to happen again? Remember, we are not just entrepreneurs. This is a business. We also have to be managers. We have to control the business, okay? So one good practice is if you can, at the end of the day, deposit all the cash excess that you will not use in the next day in your bank account. Why? Because you are building your bank history. Your banks will know how much money you are moving. It will be easier for you to get a new loan because you already built a history of a track record of your transactions. And also, if you don't have too much money in your business, you have less incentives for the thieves to come to your store and try to rob your money. So also, it's very important to set aside some savings for emergencies. Yes, we need to have some money for the business, and the turnover of the money in the business is the most profitable money if you manage well your business. But it's also important to have some money for emergencies, for an accident, for a disease, if someone in the family gets sick. For these emergencies, the best way to save is as soon as you receive some money, take away some portion of that money and do not touch it. And that money is for emergencies. Other money can be for investment or to grow your business, but also good to have some money for emergencies. And also, if you have a business, we have several experience with people that suffered of robbery, and they learn it in a bad way, the importance of getting alarm, security, and also secure insurance service against theft and fraud. And there is a huge opportunity in the insurance industry to deliver more to the SMEs entrepreneurs on all types of insurance, not just life and health, also different types of insurance. Okay, last point, talking about how much debt can I afford to pay. If I know this and I get over indebted, this is my responsibility because I knew the limit. So how we know the limit of over indebtedness? In a very simple way, and taking our old cash flow tool, we start with an opening balance. We add all the cash inflows. We subtract all the cash, the opening balance plus the cash inflows is the total cash inflows. Minus, you subtract the cash outflows from business and from home, and you subtract, until this we only have the cash flow, you subtract a margin for emergencies. That means the money that you would use in case of any type of emergencies. And this is your real debt payment capacity. So you compare this amount, your debt payment capacity, with the amount you will have to pay in the installment for a new loan. If your debt payment capacity is larger than the installment, then you can take the loan. Otherwise, better not. Okay, let's look at an example, just like in the previous example. All the cash inflow from business and family, let's make by salary or remittances, adds up to 302,000. The cash outflows, these are in Dominican pesos, sorry, but it's just in case you want to know which currency is. The cash outflows account for the business expenses, 190,000, family and personal expenses, 64,000, debt payment for 5,000. So in red, my total cash outflows are 259,000. So 300 of cash inflows minus 259,000 of cash outflows, I have a cash flow balance of 42,000. But I cannot take all this money to pay debts. I take a portion of this money, 42,000, as a safety margin, let's say 25%. So it's about 10,000. 42,000 minus 10,000, I get around 31,000. This is my debt payment capacity. So I compare this 31,000 with the payment, the installment I have to pay monthly for the new loan. That's in this example is 30,000. So in this case, I could take the new loan. But if my installment would be 32 or 33,000, then I could not take the new loan. Okay, this is a very simple and easy way to avoid getting into over-indebtedness problems. Okay, what is the relation? You will never get over-indebted. That means having more debt than what you can pay if you control your expenses. The only way to get over-indebted is that you spend more than your income. If you spend more than what you earn, you will have to make up the difference by reducing your savings or taking a new loan, a new debt. So spending less than what you earn is the very basis for your savings. And this will help you protect you against over-indebtedness problem. The key message here is if you don't control your spending, you will probably end up having repayment problems and losing access to new loans. Because if you don't pay to a bank, you get registered in a credit bureau, and then the new financial institution that you try to access will not provide you a new loan. So control your expenses and you will control your debts. So some tips to how do I know if I am choosing the right loan for me? First of all, we start by real need. Make sure you really need the loan. If this is to grow your business, take it. If this is to take an opportunity, take it. If this is just to grow your expenses and you don't know how you're going to pay it, you don't need it. Don't take it. Okay. Number 2, evaluate your payment capacity. We just checked how to do it in example before. Number 3, shop around. Compare the different loan options from different financial institutions and choose the loan that is better for you. Compare the total quantity that you will end up paying for a loan. Because if you get a loan of 100, sometimes you pay 120, but sometimes you pay 200. It's a huge difference, so compare. Number 3, again, sorry to repeat it, but it's important, control your expenses. The golden rule is spend less than you earn to avoid debt payment problem. And finally, if you have followed all this path, you can get your loan application, fill and complete all the paperwork that is required by your financial institution. So this is the last slide. In summary, if I have to make a summary and you take something of all these two explanations that I shared with you, would be this. To improve your sales, keep identifying opportunities all the time. Read your customers, ask your customers, serve your customers. Learn how to sell online and offer discounts to your customers and promotions. And try to bring the product to the customer house or the customer office, okay? That will help you to improve your sales during this crisis time. This is something that was proved by thousands of entrepreneurs that are getting better with this crisis because they are applying these rules. How about this is about entrepreneurship, growing the money. But remember, you are not just an entrepreneur, you are also a manager. So take good control of your business. What is taking good control of your business about? Control your money, and if you have inventory, control your inventory. Remember, make a balance between inputs and outputs, and compare the inflows minus the outflows with the physical quantity you have in money and stocks. If there is any difference, find out why. Investigate the difference. And about debt management, remember that your payment capacity is essential to survive. Income minus expenses minus the security margin is your payment capacity. Compare this payment capacity with the fee or the installment you have to pay for the new loan. And always, always, always control your expenses so you will not get problems with the debt payment. So back to you, Klaus.
Thank you very much. Well, this is a very, very, very important topic. Yeah, so this is one of the main reasons why institutions often getting bankrupt. Yeah, especially the micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, they have problems with cash flow management. So this is really a very important message. And of course, in this course, we can just, let's say, scratch a little bit the surface. But please be advised that we are preparing already an e-learning course on cash flow management, and we will keep you informed about how this course is developed, and we'll put you in the loop, let's say, when we have finished the preparations. Yeah, so thank you very much, Juan. And now we are really very happy to introduce Ms. Sylvia Donat. She is the Executive Director of the Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility, to provide us with information of the benefits of the Compete initiative for the Caribbean entrepreneurship. Sylvia, we are all listening. Thank you very much. Sylvia?
I'm here. Thank
Excellent.
you, Klaus. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Juan, Floris, Lucy, all the organizers of this event. So I'm going to deliver a short presentation about a current opportunity that we have under the Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility, which may interest many of you. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about what the Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility is. It's a program that is focused on helping or supporting private sector development in the Caribbean region. We benefit 13 countries, certainly all the countries that I've seen represented here. And the way that we do this is that we provide technical assistance to private sector projects on the one hand, but we also work with governments to make it much easier for businesses to do businesses in their countries. I have to say that this issue of e-commerce and mobile payment solutions that came up a lot during one of the discussion sessions is an issue that we are trying to work on as well. So let me give you my presentation. Wait 1 minute. I have to find it. Okay, it's here. Wait, okay. Are you seeing my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, let me put it into a slideshow format so that, okay. First of all, I want to give a little plug to our donors because this facility is actually financed by the Inter-American Development Bank, by the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office of the United Kingdom, by the Caribbean Development Bank, and by the Government of Canada. And we were very delighted to be able to join the European Investment Bank and the rest of the partners in this current training program that you are all taking today. So what is one of the things that we do as Compete Caribbean? One of our instruments is to support groups of firms, groups of businesses that work together to achieve a common objective. And usually that common objective is related to conquering a market that they have identified within this group of businesses. Currently, we call these initiatives cluster initiatives, no? And the way that we identify projects is that we open calls. So we open calls and businesses that are interested will work together to put a short application for the financing. In this case, we are very keen to support clusters in the blue economy, okay? And you know, what are we looking for? We are looking for environmentally sustainable and socially responsible blue economy projects. The blue economy, we will go into it later, is very broad. Here are some examples: fisheries, tourism, technology, but there are many. And the call, basically what it entails in a nutshell, but I will go into it in more depth, is that the winners of the call, and there is more than one winner, the winning projects get up to $400,000 US allocated to that project, and it can be used by the group of firms for several things that we will go into later, okay? So first of all, I want to define a little bit of, you know, the blue economy. The blue economy is really any activity that uses resources from the ocean or from the rivers. And it's an income generating activity, but it also, for us, we're very interested in activities of that type that can also promote the sustainability of the resources that it is using. So many different activities encompass the blue economy. They go from shipping to fisheries to energy to you know, projects that clean up the ocean or that use waste from the ocean, let's say sargassum, for example, coastal community projects, coastal tourism projects, and essentially we're interested in projects that create jobs, produce additional exports, increase livelihoods, but also conserve marine life, river life, and ocean and rivers, okay? So what is essentially our call? Well, here there's more explanation on the blue economy. So, you know, there are some industries that you all know very well that are mature, and these are fisheries, coastal and marine, shipping, oil and gas. Others that are more nascent, so things that could be done, you know, cultivating fish in the ocean, aquaculture. There's a lot to be done in maritime monitoring and surveillance, like, for example, against illegal fishing. A lot can be done in the ports and around the ports, renewable energy, and then, you know, there are emerging industries in coastal development, protection and restoration, marine products, so products that you can develop, for example, from seaweed, cosmetic products, nutraceutical products, food products. Deep sea mining is an emerging industry, although it requires a lot of capital. I doubt that we will get any projects in deep sea mining. And then there's new forms of renewable energy that are very novel, and some of them as yet untested, like marine wave energy and so on, that actually take place in the ocean. Right, so what is our call about? As I said, we are looking for groups of firms. The minimum number of firms that can apply for the call is 3 private firms. They have to be registered in the Caribbean, and they have to be operating in any of our 13 beneficiary countries. And you can read the countries there: Bahamas, Barbados, Belize, Guyana, Jamaica, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So Compete Caribbean can provide up to $400,000 in support for a project, but we can only provide up to 80% of the total project cost. And we expect the beneficiaries, that is these 3 companies or more, can be, you know, many, many more companies. We have projects that have 5,000 companies. They need to provide a counterpart contribution of at least 20% of the project amount. 10% has to be in cash and 10% in kind. In kind can be, you know, the time of the people in the firm that will be allocated to the project, for example, like that. Okay. To apply, you have to go to our website, and there's a template, but really what we are interested in is that in that template, you describe what you're planning to do, what is the big problem or opportunity that you are trying to reach with your project, how are you going to implement your activities, who is responsible within this group, for which activities, who is coordinating, how much does each of the beneficiaries contribute, right? And when, you know, what is the sequence of activities? If you go to the website, you'll see the template is not very long. It's very short answers for each of these points, and then a budget, of course, okay? Well, this is an example of what I already had explained. We provide a maximum of $400,000 or up to 80% of the cost of a project. So let's say if you were applying for a project of $500,000 US, the beneficiaries will have to put $100,000 US, and we would put $400,000, okay? So, you know, what could be examples of cash contributions? Equipment, goods, website, infrastructure improvement in your own businesses, etc. And in-kind contributions, staff that you allocate to manage a project, the space that is provided for consultants, for example, okay? What is the timeline for this call? So the call ends January 31st, 2021, so applications have to be submitted by then. And then what happens is that there is a process of shortlisting in which, you know, up to, let's say, 8-10 projects are shortlisted, and they actually get a consultant from Compete Caribbean to help them develop that project much further. And we estimate that period to end by May. So when all those projects are developed much further, there's something called an investment panel, which is kind of like a Shark Tank setting, where we invite these very respected business people from the region, as well as some specialists from the bank, and each of the projects pitches their full project to this investment panel. They are external to Compete, and they recommend to the program which ones we should fund, okay? And then the process of approval and actual funding starts. You will have this presentation later, so sorry, something happened. Okay. What are the criteria that we use to evaluate the projects? So the first one is feasibility. I mean, if there is no feasibility, there is no project. And we look at the execution capacity of the businesses, that are behind the project. Can they really do this? Have they identified the risks, and are they appropriately mitigated? We are very keen on financing projects that can help create jobs, both in the short and the long term, that can help generate revenue for the businesses that are involved, so sales and exports, and that are sustainable, not only environmentally and socially sustainable, but sustainable across time, so that when the project ends, the activities will continue to happen, okay? I wanted to give you a little bit of examples of projects that we have financed. I have to tell you as well that if you go on our website, you will see immediately, like it's the first page, click on the application. And this week, we did an event where many of the clusters that we have financed spoke at the event, but as well many international businesses that are working in the blue economy, and they gave examples of what they have done. So, if you're looking for ideas, you're looking for examples, you can look at specific presentations, you can look at summaries, etc. Okay? But these are some of the ones. I'm sorry for the typo in ornamental fish. I will speak about the blue economy ones. So this adventure and indigenous tourism in Guyana, we consider a blue economy one because this is an ecotourism initiative that took place along Guyana's rivers and that involved the sports fishing of the largest freshwater scaled fish in the world, which is the arapaima, okay? And what these 3 ecologists did, and the 2 of the ecologists were managed by indigenous communities, is that they came together to develop a tourism circuit for the sports fishing of the arapaima fish. So this was a new product, so sports fishing. It encouraged conservation because the arapaima was hunted for its meat. But with this project, a tourist would spend up to $10,000 US for a week to have this experience. So suddenly the arapaima became worth more alive than dead, okay? And what we actually helped the 3 ecologists do is that we helped them develop the protocols for catch and release without damaging the fish of the arapaima. We trained the tour guides. We helped them with the whole branding, marketing, online, marketing internationally. And we were also able to help a little bit with solar power, okay, to reduce their energy costs. Another one that I want to highlight is the ornamental fish project in Kingston, Jamaica. Here, this project involved an NGO, the Competitiveness Company, but it's an NGO. And the Competitiveness Company had worked with over 150 urban low-income people in Kingston to set up farms, like these were water tanks in the backyards of their homes. And they had been growing ornamental fish. They had identified that there was an international market for ornamental fish, and they had actually done 2 exports before they came to Compete Caribbean. And what happened when they exported this fish, 30% of the fish arrived dead to the US, okay? And how this industry works is that if more than 5% of the fish are dead, the buyer doesn't pay for any of the fish, okay? They have to throw away the fish. So what the cluster came to us for help was, can you provide technical assistance so that we reduce the mortality of the fish, help us identify other markets, because in the end, what we want to have is a flourishing ornamental fish industry. And what we did is that they had identified the person that they wanted technical assistance from. This was a ornamental fish specialist from Australia. We hired him to move to Jamaica for 2 years, teach people from the community who became kind of like agricultural, quote unquote, specialists. And they reduced the mortality to 3%. This same person, he had excellent contacts with international buyers of ornamental fish. And by the end of the project, this the cluster received a US $3 million purchase order. Imagine what that meant for those people. So I'm very proud of this cluster. And then the third one that I want to highlight in the blue economy is a shrimp cluster in Belize. There we work with large shrimp producers. Actually, We started working with 5 out of 10. We ended up working with 8 out of 10, but that represented 90% of the Belize shrimp industry, for them to obtain Aquaculture Stewardship Council certification. That's the most stringent environmental and social certification that you can obtain for rearing shrimp. And with that certification, they were able to penetrate very lucrative niche markets in Europe. They then had a virus come, that was brought apparently by birds, avian virus. And now we're helping them with biosecurity protocols so that they can prevent that from happening in the future. I just wanted to give you these examples. So, yeah,
thank you very much.
and
That
I'm
is
done.
really great. Yeah, so it's really very detailed, your presentation. This is, let's say, the where you can get more information on it.
Yeah, I was going to say that you should go to our website. So I will write it on the chat, but it's competecaribbean.org. If you look for Compete Caribbean, you will find it. And just as you click it, you will see the notice for the cluster call. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sylvia. So this is really
welcome.
relevant information on the Compete initiative for the Blue economy, and I'm sure that.
Sorry, Klaus and Sylvia. Sorry, just we have one question or two questions in the chat for Sylvia. Just to know if there's something in Tobago. 2 questions on that.
No, we have not financed a project in Tobago, but we would love to. I mean, we finance the projects that come to us that go through this process and, are shortlisted, have a consultant assigned, and then they pitch and they win the financing. So we haven't done anything in Tobago, but would happily do something there. Great. We are, through the IDB and through the IMA, helping to finance something for Tobago that will come on stream soon to support entrepreneurship and innovation in Tobago specifically. I did want to say that. Okay. Great. I'm glad to see interest.
Excellent. Is there another question, Lucy? You said a second question?
No. The 2 questions were on Tobago, so it's fine. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sylvia. You see, so I guess many of the participants will contact you to enjoy the benefits of the program afterwards. So thank you very much for your presentation. With this, now we are jumping into another topic, because up to now we have heard a lot, let's say, how we can adapt our business in times of COVID, and as well how we can search for support from different institutions. But we have to understand that the pandemic is not only a threat, but can offer as well a lot of opportunities. Therefore, we are happy to invite Ms. Marsha Lewis, Managing Partner of Human Capital, LCI Consulting in Barbados, to share with us her experience with the coronavirus and the change that it meant to her business life. Marsha, we were all very curious to learn from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm not sure if you're seeing me. I think my video cam is acting up a bit. Is everyone seeing me? Are you hearing me?
We can see you. I hear you.
Can see me and hear me. Great. Well, I'm not too sure. I can't see myself. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for this amazing opportunity. I am Marsha Lewis of LCI Consulting Firm, and I see that my integrated screen is sort of messing up my view, but if we're okay, we can move on. Let's forget that. So yes, I have a great responsibility today, and that is to speak to you as fellow entrepreneurs and business owners in the micro industry space. And what I want to share with you are some of the challenges that I faced as a company owner and how we were able to sort of weather that storm. I was listening in, and I'm so happy I was able to listen in earlier to just hear some of the financial advice. And also I know Compete Caribbean quite well. So I'm so happy to be part of this event, because I know that we have great partners out there once we tap into them. So I really want to encourage you to do that as well and tap into the partners that are available. So a little bit about LCI. We are based in Barbados. We are a management consulting firm, and I am not Barbadian, but I'm Trinidadian, and a lot of our team members are from all over the region. So the plus that brings two things is that we are very much in the know about what is happening in the region. We have a team of about 10 individuals altogether. We have a satellite office in Trinidad as well, and we'll be setting up one shortly in the OECS. And I want you to know that a lot of that came out of COVID. So when I'm speaking to you, it's speaking to you from a hands-on experience. And I see I have a fellow Trini in the room. Whoop, whoop. Denise Aliang, represent. Yes, Trini is in the house. So all right, so let's jump into it. So if we go to the next slide. Yeah. Okay, great. So what are we faced with in terms of the challenges? And one of the first challenges we were faced with was almost immediate when it hit a reduction in our cash flow. What did that look like? We basically had our largest client say to us, guys, we need to stop doing work with you. And not that they wanted to, but I should have shared with you, what we do in the most part is we develop human capital solutions, i.e. we develop our clients' people. And we work in every space. We work in financial services, we work in education, agriculture. So some of you may actually be our clients. And that meant changing our complete business model, but I'll get to that shortly. So the first thing we were faced with was how we delivered service was at risk. And why it was at risk is because we had our largest client, a regional client, say to us, because of what your service is, and because COVID demands social distancing, we can no longer pursue our retainer with you. Now, this was a retainer. So this is our primary source of income. Yeah, we're a small firm, a large conglomerate. So that was really, money in the bank. So immediately cash flow reduction. And then that was followed by a number of our smaller clients for the same reason, saying key to what you do is really face-to-face interaction and coming in front of our people and really encouraging them and motivating them to move forward. And the way you develop your solutions is in that face-to-face interaction. So of our lead clientele, we saw a reduction of about, I would say 15%, first month of COVID for us, which was March. Why? Our delivery mechanism. As I mentioned, our delivery mechanism is face-to-face. So what that immediately meant was we weren't able, because of COVID, and remember, this is the early phases of lockdown, to travel to a lot of our customers. Literally, Liat were good friends of mine. I lived on a plane throughout the region. I think people thought I may have been a pilot or at least a flight attendant at one time in my career, because we were so up and down the islands. From as far as, I'm saying as far from Jamaica to DR to St. Lucia. So at the intent, as a result of that, a lot of how we delivered our product and service was impacted. And then lastly, we faced the problem with, we've been around for 12 years. Most of our staff have been with us for almost that period. If we have a reduction in our revenues, how is that going to allow us to continue our operating costs, to meet our operating expenses? And as such, our human resources were impacted. And I know we face that as well. Question? No?
Yes, it was just an interruption. You can go ahead, Marsh.
All right, no problem. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So how does that work when all of what you know and how you've been operating for the past 12 years is basically, as you would see, crumbled and sort of thrown away? We weren't going away without a fight. So what we was to consider how we would reinvent ourselves, which is what I'm doing on the next slide. I'm getting a lot of static and feedback from someone. So if I can ask, yeah, thank you. Cheers. So if we could go to the next slide. So I hope you saw my funky imagery there. That was my entire world shattering just now as the animation just broke into pieces. Yes, just shattered. So I want to leave with you 3 quick tips. Yep. And those tips are as followed. And I'm just realizing that we're really having challenges on my end with the virtual background. So if you just give me a quick second.
But we hear and see you well, Marsha. So I guess it's all fine.
You see me well? Okay, great. All right, that's helpful. Okay. All right, let me get back to action. So the first thing I want to share with you that we did, so this isn't stuff that is in a theory book. This is our rule book. How did we manage things moving forward? One of the first things we did was we remembered first principles, and that is we returned to our customer. What does our customer need? And our customers, what they wanted more than anything else was to understand and to remind us that our first solution to them was really how we developed their human resources, how we supported them. So if we were able to do that, other than face-to-face, they were ready to step back on that proverbial bus. And that was really important for us because it forced us to really reinvent, which I'll come to thirdly, how we manage things. So we sat down in a room and basically did a brain dump about how do we redesign our business model, but with our customer in mind. So for those of you who may be in the fashion industry, how are you redesigning your business model with the customer in mind? You may have been selling your lovely tie-dye or batik kaftans on the beach in DR or in Jamaica or in Rodney Bay. But social distance, we can't go to the beaches or we're not going as regularly. How do you get to the customer? That's really what we had to think about. And for us, because it required face-to-face, we had to sit in a room and think through how best do we deliver to the customer in the way that adds the greatest value to them. So what did we do? We basically got online as a team and spent half of a day just brainstorming. You would be amazed how fruitful a simple exercise like that can be when the survival of your industry, your company is riding on it. And that really led us to some of the other things I'm going to share with you just now. But another key item, once we did that brainstorm dump, was we recognized that we needed to prepare our team. Not everybody is camera ready. Not everybody has the type of internet in their homes or where they may be living, or you may be really micro and it's just you and your partner running this out of your respective homes. And you'll get all nice and dandy when you're delivering. But now I had to do this from home. And for me, using a real example, I have 2 young kids. So I'm doing this in terms of face-to-face and also managing homeschool. For any parent out there, if I can have an amen, was not easy. So it was more about how do we prepare our team for this new environment? And one thing I have to say here, I see I got an amen from Estella. Absolutely, Estella. Not easy at all. I'm still struggling. I don't know if you can see the gray hair. That's all from homeschooling. I was completely black hair before. But on a serious note, what we did was we wrapped arms around our staff and we trained them to be what we're calling virtual ready. We trained them to say, how can you operate in this new normal? How can you operate and ensure that you are able to still deliver and drive, knowing that you are working from home, you are managing from home, no one's breathing down your neck to make sure that you're doing stuff? How can you ensure that there's that accountability? So it's really important to look inwardly and ensure that your staff, regardless if it's a staff of 1 or a staff of 20, because I know we're dealing with micro to macro, are well trained. Secondly, reimagine your business. We had just moved into these really fine office space, and all of a sudden COVID comes. So guess what? We have rent and we can't use the space. So we had to reimagine how are we going to design our channels of delivery. So what we did was we developed new product services. And we had a bit of a plus because one of our clients pre-COVID had asked us to do things virtually. So we had already taken a lot of our content and moved it online. So we were able to leverage on that and ensure that we can just take all of the remaining face-to-face content and put it online. In some instances, we used our client's SharePoint service, or we created a link to our website that allowed us to put things in place so that our clients could log on to our website to see the content that we were delivering. Critical point here, reimagine your business, reinvent your products. So as a result of COVID, we now have a whole new line of products that are all virtually based. Another key thing that we did was we looked at the technology before us and we said, how could we leverage it? Yeah. In addition to that, we also, because we're based in Barbados, there was a lot of open space from the time lockdown was over. So we had hotels, we had schools open, and they were empty. Now, for our space to work with social distancing protocols, we could still have leveraged that space by going there, agreeing some sort of prepaid but sort of staggered payment to these hotels or schools, and still do face-to-face training. Yeah. So again, thinking through what can I use to even deliver on the old model that I had. Again, second point, reimagine your business. Third point, reinvent yourself and embrace the future of work. Look, I'm not a fan of virtual. For anybody that knows me for more than 2 minutes, I am all about the relationship, being in your face, working with you, touchy-feely. We're in human capital development. It's all about building relationships. It's all about eyeballing that person to create that behavior change. How do you do that in a virtual setting? Not easy. So I want to encourage you to embrace Zoom, Teams, GoToMeetings. They aren't going anywhere. They are here to stay as we're using this platform right now. And then a critical point of that, you're going to have some people who in your team, this is just not how they do it. They can't get on the bus. And you're going to have to treat those people kindly. But in some instances, as we've had to do with one, you're going to have to make a decision, because this is the new normal and it's not going anywhere. Yeah. So be respectful of your team, but take them on that journey. And sometimes that journey may mean leaving the business. And guess what? Here's the hard part. That's not easy when that person may have been the person who created the business. How do you do that? How do you exit the boss when the boss is so stuck in his or her way? And I say that that is a challenge that a lot of you may be facing. And I want you to look introspectively and consider, is that you? How do you reinvent yourself and set that stage? And then lastly, continue to adapt and grow as a team. Every 2 weeks, we do some level of virtual training, some level of constant refreshing and revival to our team that this is how this needs to operate, and let us know what support you need. We also have created a lot more flexible time because people are working from home, and managing a household and a work load isn't easy. Lastly, train, train, train. And before I go, I want to leave you with this. You know, COVID placed us in a position where we thought we were failing. But I don't know if you've ever looked at something fail. When you fail or fall, you go forward, right? Think about falling. You're falling forward. And then the ground rises up to catch you. And that's when you step. Don't be afraid to fail forward and fail fast. Because COVID has shown us that out of an opportunity of failure, there is the potential for you to reinvent, reimagine, and return to the customer. So use it and use it wisely. I want to leave you with a visual. This, I don't know how old you guys are, but when I was growing up, there was this ad that says, this is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions? Well, here's one for you now. This is what normal was. Whatever your business was or what you thought it was. And yes, Akeisha, the Phoenix approach, completely right. This is normal. This is what normal is right now. Bye-bye. Your job is to fail fast and fail forward and reinvent yourself. I look forward to joining you on that journey. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope these tips help you to really progress forward. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Masha. This is really excellent. Really, we saw it in the comments. Excellent presentation. Thank you very much. I guess, yeah, very much very impressed of your innovative and entrepreneurial spirit. And this can always be a guide and a light to all of us in this different and complex situation and times. So really, thank you very much, Marsha. I don't know, let's say we saw now, thank you very much for the presentation, inspiring. So really, I guess many of the people have experienced, and you told them what they feel in this situation. So I guess this is what we missed in our meeting, that we really are lined up with all what we heard from Marsha.
We have some questions, Klaus.
Okay.
Some hands rising.
Okay.
I have here Atsiko. Do you have a question, Atsiko? You can unmute yourself. Or was it by mistake that you raised your hand?
So if somebody
I think
wanna talk and say something, please go ahead.
You can raise your hand or just enter the question in the chat box. Okay, it seems like there are no questions.
Yeah, there are many comments. Yeah, so I guess
everyone's very happy. Yes.
Yeah.
Great presentation, Marsha. Very inspiring. Great. So, hello, someone's speaking. Oh, it was Marsha saying. Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess now with this real and stunning impressions, we are going to close our event. But before departing, we would like to understand from you, let's say, your impressions on the training and maybe as well you need for upcoming trainings in the future. So Melissa, could you please guide us through the survey?
Of course. Perhaps after we answer this survey, we can also answer any general questions, not just regarding Marsha's presentation, but any type of question that you may have. Please enter it in the chat box and we can discuss that briefly. So
I see that Patrick raised his hand. Patrick?
Yes.
Do you have a question or do you want to make a comment? Please feel free.
Hi.
Hi, Patrick.
Previously, I had not thought of using loans as a way to help my business grow. I've always only used my own capital. Is this something that I should try to maybe, explore? Because I don't want any debt, and right now with COVID, it's difficult to see the end of it. And I'm just concerned that it'll impact my cash flow even more if, like Marsha said, I don't, fail fast.
I can take that question if you agree.
Yes, Juan. Yes, Juan.
A loan is a tool. It depends on how you use it. I know many of us are afraid of taking new loans because of the situation of the COVID-19 and uncertainty, but at the same time, I look in a lot of people making incredible business in the middle of this huge pandemic and crisis situation because they are making a wise use of a debt. They are taking productive loans. Of course, they are exploring the trends. They are exploring what use they are going to give to the money they are going to take on loan. And instead of growing 1, 2, 3 with your own money, they are growing 10, 20, 100 with loans. So the difference between using your own money and taking a loan is the speed on which you can grow. Of course, it's important that you evaluate well the business in which you are, what is going to be the use of the money. Ask your customers what are their needs, their problems today that you could fulfill with your services. And in that case, if you need money to fulfill those needs, to solve the problems of your customers, then you can consider taking a loan. as you are already in a business, you are watching how you are going with your own money. And you can evaluate if you are able to grow more, if you would have more money for the turnover of your inventory or whatever business you are in. So it depends, it's a risk management, a risk balance decision. But in my perspective, this crisis will bring huge opportunities to the ones that learn good financial and entrepreneurial education and take advantage of all the opportunities that are rising with this crisis. Right now, the biggest increase in fortunes has been the people that is around the technology industry, people that is serving their customers with proper and fast and good quality services. So I think the answer depends on the evaluation you are making. But I've been banker for 20 years before back from now, and I can assure that if you use well your loans, you can grow. This is what I can share.
Excellent, Juan. We have another hand rising. Yeah? So I see Vincent is there. Vincent, would you like?
Before we go on to the hand raising, I would like to just quickly have one question answered on the advice for young entrepreneurs. So we have a lot of new starters who are not used to any business, that they're just starting up and they're looking for financing. How does that work?
At the beginning, when you are starting a new business, probably it will be hard to get money from a formal bank. So usually the first, let's call it money providers, are the family, the friends, and the fools, sorry to say that, but it's a joke. But family and friends can be a potential source of money. Before investing money, before getting a loan, invest time in your financial and entrepreneurial education. Invest how the business that you want to be in are evolving, what are the advantage and the disadvantage of the actual business that are providing services on the same industry that you want to be. Learn, and then start small, explore how it goes little by little. And when you start, it's good to start at the beginning with your own money or the money that you can write from family and friends. And then when you start watching and learning, then you can get additional loans from other parties. But don't start the very first day with a big loan that you will probably have a very hard time paying.
Great, thank you very much, Juan. Hope we could answer, let's say, most of the question. Be sure, let's say, we will copy all the question and we'll come back to you after our training today as well. And maybe now we can get a little bit of an insight of the questionnaire we had. Melissa, can you go through the responses we have at the moment?
Yes, so far I can, well, it's still running. I see people still answering. But so far, everyone's very satisfied and they are very likely to use the tools. And they would like to definitely be part of future trainings. I will post this. Perhaps then we can give the floor real quick to Vincent, who had a question, while I close the poll here.
Perfect. Vincent, please go ahead.
So good evening. I'm Vincent Boland from the St. Lucia Development Bank. It's not really a question, but more of an observation from what I'm seeing in the chat and the questions that persons are asking. I think one of the key things that persons need to do, especially the young and those looking to start their business, would be to look for that advisor, that mentor that will guide them through the process. We notice that persons, when they come to us, for instance, at the development bank, we want to see what plan do they have to see themselves adapting and coming out of the problems, with COVID and all of those things that are impacting them right now. And we have persons who have the ability to provide that advice on our team. And also we are encouraging persons to seek the advice of their accountant, seek the advice of persons who are in the industry. We know, for instance, in St. Lucia, there's Invest in Lucia. We have partnered with Invest in Lucia too. There's a platform for entrepreneurs called Boost, where you can go, and in there you'll be able to see what grants are available. You'll be able to see what persons in the industry are doing that may relate to you. So, it's not for, just like Marsha was indicating, they had to really take an inward look to see what do they need to do to reignite their business and for them to move forward in the new environment. So we encourage persons to speak to the professionals to be able to get the advice that they need. For instance, the SLDB recently launched a program for support in terms of a grant and a loan for MSMEs. So we encourage persons to reach out. Depending on which island you're at, my colleagues in Belize, I'm sure that their development bank would be happy to speak with you. My colleagues in Grenada, in Jamaica, throughout, we are able to speak with you. So that's my contribution. Thank you
very much, Vincent. There was one question asking, where is Boots, in which country?
Boost. That was in St. Lucia.
Boost is in St. Lucia, yes.
Perfect.
All right, so I'm gonna go
ahead and end the poll and release the results so that everyone can see them. So we have very satisfied to satisfied customers, participants. Very nice that it's very likely that they will use the tools that we learn on this training. The topic that everyone would like to learn a little bit more about is social media sales and product delivery, together with business management. And debt management and cash flow are kind of on the same level. So yes, it's very, very nice to see that the training is indeed helpful for most of you. We understand that not all sectors can be catered, but yeah, we hope that this was useful to you in any way. And as Mr. Vincent said, please contact the different entrepreneurship platforms supporting MSMEs, banks, MFIs. Just look around what's available that can be supporting programs, and we wish you all the best. Sorana and Denise, we're running out of time. If you could enter your questions in the chat box and we will get back to you via email. I would now like to give the floor to Flores, who will give us a few words before we finish this training.
Maybe we can have the photo before, let's say, just closing so that we have a final photo of all of us. So maybe could we ask you to make a photo? So please, can you make on your video so that we can have a photo?
Yes, you can turn on, all of you can turn on your videos now. We want to see you and we want to take a big group photo.
That would be so great.
All together now.
Yes, don't be shy.
All together. All together now.
Oh, so many lovely people.
But I'm not seeing why you're not coming on.
So when you're ready, I will say 1, 2, 3 and take the picture. Okay, are you ready?
And Philip.
1, 2, 3. I will take another one, please. Just one moment. Just one moment, and I will take a second one. If you're ready, 1, 2, 3.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Great.
So
thanks
with this now,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We will now, let's say, would like to invite Flores as well to give some final words and close the meeting.
Thanks indeed. Thanks everyone for joining today and for your interaction and your interest in what we've been presenting. As Klaus mentioned at the beginning, this is just the first of a series of trainings that we'll be preparing over the coming months. And your feedback and interaction today has been very valuable for us to be able to know what are the topics that are most important to you. So we really appreciate that. I'd like to thank the speakers, Klaus, the whole team at Frankfurt School, Melissa and Lucy, Juan for the training. I'd like to thank Ugo, and I'd like to thank Sylvia also for your interventions today. As emphasized, as mentioned in the chat, everyone that's registered for this will have a copy of the presentation sent to you by email. So you'll be able to go over the material again. And we will also alert you when the next training is ready. It'll be in the new year when we've prepared that based on all the feedback we've had today. So just to very briefly summarize, we learned today about the importance of increasing sales and looking for opportunities despite the new business environment. As Marcia pointed out, there is no more normal. And we need to listen to our customers as much as we can now and try and identify what their needs are in this changing environment. When we did the mind map, what clearly came out was one of the challenges is trying to improve your online presence, websites, social media marketing, how to deliver products. And in the service industry, of course, what products can be delivered online or at a distance or in people's homes in a safe manner. UNDP presented their eFuture tools. Now, if you Google UNDP Barbados on their website, you can get to those eFutures. That's a series of short videos which gives very practical advice about things like the 6 topics that they put up on the screen there, including marketing via WhatsApp, cleaning protocols, all these things that you can do to reach out to your customers and give them the confidence that they can do business with you without having any concern for their safety, and also that you can meet their needs in a situation where they won't be out and about as much as previously. We also talked about the importance of cash flow control and managing that cash, checking for leakages, making sure you can consolidate your cash accounts at the end of the month, and what to consider when taking a loan. And we actually had a specific question on that as well, how you do the analysis. Please also don't just rely on us. There'll be a lot of material online that you can Google about, how to do your analysis if you can afford to take a loan. And when you talk to the banks, particularly your local development banks, there's something you can also discuss with your relationship manager there. They will also know how to do the analysis to let you know what kind of loan you can take and what would be sensible or not, given your current business situation. We learned about the request for proposal process for the Blue Economy on the Compete Caribbean website. Clearly there does have to be a link with the Blue Economy, but I think you can be creative here because we're living on small islands, and there's many aspects of what we do which will ultimately affect the ocean and our natural environment. So please have a look at that. And thank you, Marcia, also for explaining how you approach the different environment in a very practical way, about just literally asking your customer about what their needs are, being virtual ready, designing new products to meet those customers' needs, and then training your staff to be comfortable in the environment where they're not having the face-to-face interaction that we're all used to. I mean, that was it. It was a very productive 2 hours, I have to say. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and hoping to see you next time in the new year. Wishing you all the best for the Christmas season.
Excellent. Flores, thank you very much. Goodbye to you all.
Thank you very much.
Lovely day. Thank you. Bye-bye and Merry Christmas.
Thank you to all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. We have been
Merry
more than
Christmas.
200 people connected, so
Thank you.
big congrats.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Very
Merry
interesting
Christmas.
meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks to all of you to join.
Be safe.
Great, everyone. Thanks a lot, and all the best for the holiday.
Muchas gracias.
Thanks. And you too.
Okay, we're out in 3.
Thanks everyone to join. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
So we have very young participants.